for joining us today. So we wanted to have our Team Sixkiller top 5 tips and tricks to acing your Ahip. I'm so glad that you are all here joining us. The Ahip is not necessarily difficult. It's just a little time consuming. So we wanted to jump in and get you started on how to best pass it on the first try. So without any delays, let's go ahead and jump in. The first thing I want to do is just go over a couple pointers I have from the Ahip itself. You'll see when you come out to their website, if you have not logged in yet this year, they have done a password reset. So you're going to have to take a moment and have your password reset. I will tell you that it can take 10 to 15 minutes for that email to flow through. And if you're not sure what your username is, go with your NPN number. It's always out there in the system. Once you get logged in, it's going to take you to an option to update your profile. Take a few minutes, just make sure that everything that's out there is the information that's most accurate. Additionally, if you've done this before, they're going to give you an option to go ahead and pick the carriers that you're going to directly feed your Ahip to. It does take a few minutes, but totally worth it, because then you know that you will auto feed right over. And we're going to get into the carrier feed of the Ahip a little later. So, all right, we go and we're going to log into the Ahip. You'll see once you get in there that you will have an option, if you utilize the link that I have sent you, to buy it with a $50 discount. Here in your shopping cart, it'll say $175. It'll reflect the $50 discount, and then you'll pay the $125 fee. A good point of note is that you can utilize the Ahip for CE credit. I did that last year. It was a great option. However, if you utilize the Ahip for your CE credit, it will be a proctored exam, and you will not be able to do it as an open book test. So, word of warning, you can do that, but then that means that the tips and tricks that I'm going to show you today would not apply. You're going to have to do this without any help. All right, so we go ahead and we pay, and then at that point, it's going to bring us to the Medicare courses home, where you're going to have an option to join your Ahip studying. Here on the screen, you'll see the Ahip itself. It is an overview of 5 modules, and those modules each have a 20-question check your knowledge quiz at the end. I want to make sure that you understand that those 5 module quizzes are not reflective of your final score. So if you go in and you bomb one of those quizzes, it is okay. You don't have to pass the quizzes to move on, and they have no bearing on your final exam. So there are 2 ways really to focus on the Ahip. The first is for those of you who are new to Medicare. The Ahip is a great resource for information. So take the time, click on these modules, and read through the information that's being given to you. You will see as you get in there in the module overview that you can go into the actual trainings. You can click through each of the slides, and you can also download the slides. Here on the right side of your screen, it's just a simple button. You click download, they will pop up, and then you'll be able to download to Adobe, save them to your desktop for reference later. On the module itself, modules 1 through 3, for whatever reason, by design for Ahip, if you've taken the test before, you can actually scroll down and skip to the end without clicking through the slides. But modules 4 and 5 are not going to allow you to do that. You will have to click through each slide. Then, once you're ready, you will start your final quick review. Again, that is a 20-question quiz. You will go in. Everything is multiple choice. At the end, it will tell you what you picked and what the correct answer is. Pro tip, those questions are often on the exam, so you can do a copy paste over to a Word doc for reference later. Again, remember, all the tips and tricks I'm giving you is with the assumption that you are not going to use your Ahip for continuing education. So that's why it remains open book, which means open internet, open notes. All right. As you roll through all 5 of those modules, you will then get to your final exam. The final exam is a 50-question test. You have 2 hours to complete it, and you must get a 90%. The Ahip gives you 3 chances for your $175 fee to pass this test. If you do not pass the test the first time, hang up the phone, give Team Sixkiller a call, or if you have a different Medicare VT, give those Teams a call, and we will help you with the process you followed and tweaking your process to help you get through it the second time. All right, so it's time to take our final exam. How are we going to do that? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have pulled up on your computer two completely separate browsers. If you have two laptops, that's great as well because you have screen references. I like to take mine at my desk at work, either before or after hours because I have two screens I can use. So browser one is my Ahip exam. And then browser two, I'm going to have Google pulled up. You'll see I have it here. And then I'm going to just get started for my reference point on Google. And I'm just going to start and look at question one. Last year, I had Agent Lopez helps Ralph. So I just start typing the actual question. So as Agent Lopez helps Ralph, I can select it. And then you'll see it will pull up on your screen the actual question. Click on the Quizlet results. For those of you that may not be familiar with Quizlet, it's kind of like Cliff Notes when we were a kid. It's got options of cards, Q&As, flashcards. It's a great reference for any of your continuing education. Also a great reference for any of you that have kiddos. They can utilize it for school. But I digress. You come down here, you'll see that it has terms and flashcards. You can scroll through and see the questions and the actual result answer for the Ahip. Our overzealous agents who have already taken it for 2022 have started loading their answers. So you can go in, you can hit Control F, you can type in a word, and you'll see that you can just go through and it will highlight and jump through where they are on that. So that is how you get your question and the correct answer to reference for the Ahip exam. If your question is not there as you move through, because people do get different versions of the exam, go ahead and just hit the back button or go onto your browser and have a separate Google browser on this screen. Don't ever mess with your exam browser. And you can just start typing the question again. And you'll see there's so many different options of the Quizlet courses here for reference. You'll just use those to go through. And then at the end, because you may find that you've jumped around a little bit, you'll want to just make sure that you've answered all 50 questions before you hit submit. It's straightforward, fairly simple, and easy to knock out at that point. Once you've passed your Ahip with a 90% or better, it will bring up fraud, waste, and abuse, FWA questions. There's just a few of those that, again, you need to make sure that you get correct and pass. You'll probably be able to answer them yourself. But again, if you just want to reference because you don't want to have to do this again, use the same process with Google, and those questions are out on Quizlet as well. Once your Ahip is all complete, you will have the option to feed it to the carriers. At that point, select all of the carriers, get it fed over so that you can go ahead and get that product training knocked out. One thing that we do want to cover for you today is United Healthcare. Many of you have sold United Healthcare or taken a peek at their site. You will see that they are the only carrier at this time who will allow you to sell Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans without the Ahip. What that means is a rather extensive study course on their website. And I cannot urge you enough. Do not go to those questions or open those before you have completed and transferred your your Ahip over, because United Healthcare will not recognize it and they will make you go through those long and lengthy trainings rather than accepting the Ahip and taking care of about 90% of that training. So lots of extra work. If you don't get that Ahip done first, don't do it. All right, that is really everything. Some of the top questions and feedback that we got from the advisors was, if you are new to Ahip, take the time, take the couple days, couple hours at a time, spend the time really reading the modules, learning the information. It is great knowledge to have. Make sure you download the slides and save those separately for reference, because you may get a question from a client later that they come in handy. If you're on your second year at the Ahip, you're feeling pretty good, you just want to get it done, then you can go ahead and use those tips and tricks that I taught you to speed through. Plan on setting aside 3 to 4 hours to knock out your Ahip. And again, if you're brand new, set aside several multiple hour blocks. Maybe you have 4 2-hour blocks, kind of go from there. But once it's time for the final exam, make sure that you are set and ready to do that without distraction. Here at Advisors Excel, what we do is set aside some of our time. We'll all be in a conference room with our own computer and our own test that we're doing ourselves, but we know at that point that we're knocking it out, we're taking care of it, so we can move on with the fun stuff of planning our marketing and our sales for the upcoming annual election period. I hope you guys find this helpful. If you have absolutely any questions, don't hesitate to give your team a call here at 1-866-363-9595. Anytime you have questions as well, email us team6killer@advisorsexcel.com. We hope that you are able to knock out your Ahip soon. Remember, try to get it knocked out by July 15th because all of your carriers will have product trainings that you'll have to take care of as well. If you can have all of that squared away really by the 15th of August, you can be ready for our Medicare Sales Summit event that will be coming up. That'll be August 26th and 27th. Look for something to be coming out in your email soon for that. And if you have any questions, again, reach out to myself and my team. Otherwise, we have lots of things we'll be rolling out for your Ahip itself, such as the letters, reminders to your clients, and some different postcards, radio scripts, newspaper ads, lots of things so that you have the most successful and easiest annual election period possible. Cheers to your 2022 AEP selling season, and I hope that everybody has a great rest of their summer.